Welcome back, folks, to the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast. This is pre-COVID recording, post-COVID release, so we don't talk about viruses, and we're sitting close to each other and giving each other hugs and high fives and everything else. So sorry, new world now, but it was a different time then. Brenda Puckett, straight out of
California,
Westlite.
Westlite Supply. Yeah.
Boom! The brain blew up. Westlite Supply out of California. I think they're in a couple midway. There's a couple. They have a couple branches around the U.S. Westlite Supply. She is an old soul in Nailed, and we've been hanging on to her, keeping her in Nailed, and she's going to stay there. Ain't that right, Greg?
That's right. She belongs there.
Yeah, she's the Nailed mom. NAILD.org. Brenda Puckett. We know to buy. Yeah. And so go to NAILD.org. And, this episode of the podcast is sponsored by... Oh, the flicker-free original. You thought I forgot about it, eh, son? No way. You can't forget about the flicker-free original, energyfocus.com. But they're going to hear talk about their red caps, Greg.
Yeah, so in addition to the flicker-free tubes that we know about, they also have a red cap Type B LED tube. In fact, it's the first UL-approved one. What does that mean when it's first? It means they're innovative. Energy Focus has always been an innovative company, and now they've come out with this red cap. That's a Type B emergency tube. So what does that mean? When you go into a fixture and it has an emergency backup ballast, you can now cut that thing out, and all you got to do is put this tube in. The light works at 150 lumens per watt under normal conditions. The power goes out. It kicks on for 90 minutes as an emergency light, and it's all built into the tube, which is a much easier install, less expensive long-term maintenance than having a separate battery to install or a separate module or things like that. It's all in the tube with Energy Focus.
So check out the original, Energy Focus. The original. Ooh. Energyfocus.com. ENERGYFOCUS.com. Spelled the same in Canada and the United States. Energyfocus.com. And check it out. We're very, very honored to have the daughter of one of the founding Nailed members. Isn't he a charter member, your father?
Correct. Yeah, he was one of the founding members.
How did that whole thing start?
I think we've talked about this before. I don't know if I really know entirely, but they really just didn't feel representation. There was NAED, and there really wasn't any representation for the specialized lighting distributor. And so, he knew quite a few players. He went around and opened a lot of these guys for back in the day when he worked for Westinghouse. So, I'm sure they had lots of network meetings over Manhattan's or something, and decided to put this together. Yeah.
Sounds like a couple new cats running around kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Trying to put this thing together.
I mean, you've got to think outside the box and
gotta have a few Manhattans too.
Yeah, exactly. And probably written on cocktail napkins. But, if one of his famous sayings is, there's nothing as consistent as change, right? Sure. So you have to change and you have to think. And he just saw a need in the market. There just really wasn't specialized lighting distribution. And back in that day, and you and I will always argue this point, it is a commodity. It still is to this day.
So there's a couple things that are a commodity there. I think, we're talking to lighting distributors. Lighting distributors are all starting to do something more than just sell replacement light bulbs now.
Correct.
They have to.
Right.
Except for that one guy we met earlier today. He's
Yes.
selling light bulbs still. And
Right.
I'm proud of him, man.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got a counter with weird light bulbs on it.
Yeah.
And hey, that's a game. But most lighting distributors are moving to more value-added stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
We spoke to some of your competitors out there, and they're not even talking about their distributors, but they're more talking about value engineering. They're talking about layouts. They're talking about all the other stuff that's involved in specification game side of things. What is Westlite doing to differentiate themselves these days?
Well, definitely adding more products. So you're
Okay.
right. It isn't, as we used to say, the A, B, and C types of lighting, or the ones that moved off the shelves in and out. The T8s, believe me, we still have pallets and we move those. But, we sell anything from hand dryers to replacement plastics to recycling is big for us in California.
You sell hand dryers?
Hand dryers.
That's a natural fit for lighting distributors, actually.
Like you're talking the thing you put on the wall and it
Sure.
goes there.
We just started it. Well, because what's happening is you'll notice that your reps that are, manufacturer reps that are repping these lines, they're also bringing in other things. They're bringing in fire extinguishers. They're bringing in
Yeah, smoke
anything
detectors.
else you can sell
Smoke detectors,
exactly
yeah.
to the same type of customers that you have currently. So
How's that going so far?
Well, we sold a few. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Starting
It's
to go.
definitely bringing up some conversations. But I mean, I think, a big branch, we used to sell ceiling tiles and, recycling is a big thing for us,
Sure.
definitely. Picking up the old ones, batteries, we moved into that a long time ago and did that. And, you even look back when you talk about lighting, most of us all did what you said, light bulbs.
Sure.
Then it expanded into fixtures.
Yeah.
And then it expanded into really speccing and specifying the fixtures and doing the solutions.
So are you stocking all of these things now? These additional products?
No.
That's as you get
Do
them.
you stock a lot of stuff, Greg?
No.
Yeah.
We're pretty
Yeah.
light.
I don't think anybody does. Even our
Right.
manufacturers aren't stocking.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone's a distributor now, and everyone's like a hot potato.
Yeah.
Is it like it seriously is?
I don't-
like. I do have some stock. Like,
Yeah.
I do have
Of course.
stock.
Of
Right.
course.
But the days of having like, I'll take 2 pallets of 741 KT8s, and I'll sell them. Or give me 400 of this ballast, 400 of that ballast, and we'll just do a stocking
Right.
order once a month on CFLs, and it comes. No, man, it's all project work, and in fact, it doesn't even come through the warehouse. Half the stuff, it goes right to the project.
Yeah, we're a little bit different. We do a little bit of both.
Okay.
So we still move, the linears and the T8s, but I'm not keeping a ton of, I wouldn't say the line of products has gotten very more precise.
Okay.
And so the SKUs, there's far less SKUs out there than there ever used to be. So the linears that we sell over and over and over again, yes, those are out there. But you're right. Do we bring stuff in for projects? Yes.
Do you stage it here, or do you usually just go direct?
Well, you're right. Now are we a staging?
yeah.
Some of it. Some
Yeah.
of it we ship direct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Oh.
depending.
Now, you guys are a little different than a lot of lighting distributors in that you have multiple locations in
Mhm.
different states.
Right.
So where are you guys at?
We are in California and we are in the Midwest. I recently sold off our Arizona location.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So-
Midwest is Ohio or something?
Ohio and Kentucky.
Yeah, I
Both.
remember you had one in Kentucky. I think I met one of your managers
Mhm.
at a light nail show years ago.
Right.
She was a Kentucky warehouse manager. Kentucky branch
Kentucky branch manager.
Yeah.
Still is probably.
What's her name?
Denise.
Denise. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What a
Yes.
lovely lady she was.
Yes.
I love
Still is.
meeting. I really enjoy talking to women in the business. There isn't enough of them, and they have a unique perspective on it.
Yeah.
And she was telling me, I got to jump on the forklift, and she grabs bulbs and chips them. And
Yeah.
I would assume the sales in Kentucky are exactly the same as California.
Exactly. Right.
is that sarcasm there?
That's
'Cause
It is
sarcasm,
total
buddy.
sarcasm.
Okay.
We've been talking about how
Right.
California's
Republic of
The
California.
a little
Republic
different.
of California.
And I'll
Yeah.
think Kentucky.
It's been a theme, man. I mean, and it's funny.
Well, we don't
California-
recycle in Ohio and Kentucky very much.
No.
A little bit, but nothing to the masses that we do out here.
They don't require recycling.
No.
Wow.
But you're right. In your podcast that I saw before, I mean, who polices it either way.
Yeah.
But
There's no lighting police.
right.
I mean, you could theoretically, the
But in
regulations could crack down. on
Sure.
what it would be, but
yeah. Although I don't know, they're getting better about looking at your dumpster. I just got a picture from our waste management people saying this is what your dumpster looked like, and you had too much blah blah blah, and we're going to charge you.
come on,
I swear to God.
garbage police.
Yeah.
That one,
Waste
maybe.
management.
I could see that one. maybe.
It's some of the things like sometimes these programs bother me. Like when somebody like I live in Ontario, as you know,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of fresh water in Ontario.
Right.
Okay, like there's more fresh water in Ontario than maybe anywhere else in the world. I mean, they call it the land of lakes. Ontario is the land of lakes, not Minnesota.
Right.
Okay?
Sorry, what we're called 10,000 lakes.
Whatever it
10,000
is.
lakes.
But I mean, like when you have people, we're running out of water. It's like, come on, man.
Well, don't fight it. I mean, look at it. November. What's the weather outside?
Don't get into the end of days with me.
I'm not getting into the end of days, but a lot of these businesses and a lot of, look at when you were saying too, you've moved a lot of product based on rebates,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
So that
rebate
drove a lot of things. Now, energy and being green and doing the right
we can't
thing.
conserve our way out of this.
Can
trap.
that, but is that, it's making people in California. I've got customers that want me to pick up, and I've said this before, light bulbs that aren't even recyclable because they don't want to throw them away because they want to measure and weigh their waste and talk about how
Okay.
they don't,
I'm going to say something. Okay, America is the greatest country in the world, and California is probably its greatest state. Maybe I don't know. It's probably debatable. But the smartest people in the world probably live in California. I'm just going to throw it out there. Oh, no, seriously. And you know what the shame is? They spend most of their time making video games and social media. Okay, and we have real. But let me here's my point. Okay, all this conservation stuff. I've had enough of the nickel and diming bean counting crap. I want clean energy so I can use as much of it as I want. How's that?
Well, that's fine. But I think it is, good to start recognizing what we are doing. And we are
done more than anybody.
But you talked about it yesterday too. It's like the new products, the LED products. And you think about refrigerators and your DVRs and your TVs. Nothing is made to be fixed anymore. No. It is made to be consumed and throw away.
Life cycle versus lifetime. So lifetime of the light source is longer, but the life cycle of the fixture is shorter.
So we're cutting off our hand to spite ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. Because if we had kept the old fixtures, we'd probably be producing far less waste.
Sure. A retrofit to LED is by far the greenest thing to do. By far. Keeping the sheet metal in the ceiling.
Right.
Maybe changing the sockets, taking the ballast out, putting in flicker-free bypass LED tubes, or maybe one of those.
So a retrofit kit. Because you got to be specific here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So in my mind, a retrofit is the use of the existing housing.
Okay.
And then altering it to accept new technology. I think that's by far the greenest solution. Creates the least amount of waste, reuses equipment, lower labor, all this sort of stuff. But I just don't.
Oh, what do you mean? Wait, no, not lower labor.
Yeah, I think it's lower.
No, it's not.
To retrofit an existing housing?
Sure. It takes more time than to pull that thing out and throw up a new one.
Maybe depending where that new one is. You ever go above ceiling tile and then you realize they didn't hang them right and then you got to rehang it and do all that?
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's that. We could argue that. That can go both ways.
Right.
Yeah. In times.
Well, when you're selling a project, and I've sold a lot of these, if a guy's got to go in there and change out the tombstones or take them out and take out the ballast and do all of that, they're going to charge you more in time and materials than to take out that fixture and do it back.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It's not always true, but yes, you're
California and the states I've been in. That's what the electrical contractors are pitching. But
yeah, I mean, you guys sell a lot online?
No,
you just order a traditional order desk counter sales.
Well, depending on traditional order desk. So yeah, I think we've moved to a lot of texting and phone and computer and all of that.
Why doesn't the online world, why doesn't it entice you? I mean, you would, if it was profitable, you would do it.
We have online. You can order online.
Sure.
But we started to look at it and it just doesn't pay off. We got a lot of just residential stuff. It was just like back in the days, we used to be in all the yellow pages.
Sure.
And some of you guys will not know what yellow pages are because I know. And we pulled out of all of those because we'd get the mom and pops and we loved them at the time, but it's just too much. So just for the amount of the order and people that were looking and using the shopping carts. Yeah,
we had that City Lights in San Fran or whatever. They're completely offline. They have a website with who they are and what they do, but they don't sell online at all. And they find it's a completely different business actually to what most of us are doing.
Right.
It's there's some people that are really good at it. Some members like Bulbs.com, he's very good. He's basically exclusively online. But I always wonder why. In 2008, it was like a capabilities thing. In 2019, everybody has the capability to do it.
Right.
And it's almost like a choice not to, or not to focus on it too much.
Yeah, we market tested it and put it out there, and like we said, we just didn't see the return on investment, so we didn't go deep into it.
Sure.
It just didn't pay off.
So now going back to the multiple location, I just want to understand a little. Are you stocking at each place?
A little bit.
And is it different depending? I mean, each market totally different.
Completely.
Is it difficult to train and manage and maintain all that?
No, I mean, we've been fortunate enough that we have quite a few people that have been with us for 20 plus years. So, and they're in those marketplaces. So me going to those marketplaces, sometimes, I really get fired up and I want to do more. And I got to remember I'm in Ohio or Kentucky, right?
Different.
Los Angeles and San Francisco are very like, so that's not too bad, except for, I would say we probably do more recycling here in San Francisco than we do in Los Angeles.
I do a lot of recycling too. Actually, 70% of my warehouse is recycling. I do a lot.
Yeah. And is it mandated?
No, it just so Ontario had the worst recycling rates in North America for fluorescent lamps in 2007 or 8, and it bothered me. Like it bothered me as a citizen.
But then how did you market it?
6% was the rate we had. We 6% recovery.
No, but how? I mean, so if it bothered you,
Mhm.
and so that means most people weren't doing it. How did you go to market and get people to start recycling?
Well, what I did was they got the laws changed, so that was
So
the
that
first
helped,
step.
right.
Yeah, so you were able to be like a transfer station is the wrong word, like a large volume handler.
You're
That-
yeah,
You're
transporter.
technically you're
You're a
you're
transporter.
a consolidator, or something
right,
like that, right?
Yeah,
So that was the first thing. The other thing is that I switched from billing by the foot to by the pound. That made a huge difference. It made it so much easier.
Mhm.
So instead of like counting, you just put everything on a scale and you weigh it.
right.
That was a big thing. And then I invented a box that holds. I have a U.S. patent that on a box that holds waste fluorescent lamps. So there's thousands of those around Toronto that people take the bulbs out of one box and they put it into this other box. And
So you're
that-
not using fiber drums or anything.
we use fiber drums as well, but this is for like a medium-sized commercial for a place to store their waste lamps. I invented another box for storing CFLs and stuff like that, and we dispatch those out. And then as the incentive program started to grow and grow, the utilities required recycling certificates, but all the recyclers were far outside of Toronto. And so I ended up picking up all the growth, basically. So I'm the second or third largest recycler in Ontario, but I don't have any recycling. I just consolidate and ship. So I do a tractor trailer
Right.
load a week, maybe two sometimes.
Right.
It's a lot of that's. If I sold as many lamps as I recycled, it would be crazy. Like it would be, I would be like a very, very wealthy man.
Right.
Because, but yeah, so recycling's been great for me. But it's simply because there was a vacuum.
Well, what other
leadership.
products have you guys added?
I did a podcast every now and then.
But to your day-to-day business,
Basically, we're rebate addicts. I think you are as well.
right?
I would say so. Yeah, we haven't really added anything outside of lighting.
So the
Everything that-
rebates, have they gone down at all?
a little bit in our market.
Just
yeah.
a little.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
well, it was a good chunk, but it's still significant enough that it matters.
That people are still
They put out a
Getting
new
on the
program in
rebate train.
Ontario, and like some of the stuff was higher, some of it was lower,
right.
and we're just still cranking and cranking
Still
and cranking
cranking
that.
on the
Yeah, and then we
rebates.
just we separate it out so we know how much we're doing in lamp sales and ballast sales, in which we have order desk and counter sales.
Yep. So still lamps, ballasts, and fixtures.
People
are your
call
top
in, they
things.
order, they call in, and then we do the projects, and that's a
Okay.
separate thing. And then those are and then recycling is our third line. And that's what we do. So I added recycling like heavy in 2013. I really
Right.
went after it.
Yeah.
And so that I did that for about 3 years. That was all I focused on in my business was the recycling. Toronto has a very large expatriate Chinese community. Some people say it's legally about 550,000, but it's probably more like 1 million people. That's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Okay, and I think about 50% have LED shops. I'm joking about
I was going to
that,
say 50.
Gosh.
but I mean, within the last 6 years, where my shop is, there's been 6 Chinese expatriate-owned LED stores that have opened up within walking distance. 21.
But are they they're drawing more of the resi business than the commercial.
They're also doing projects.
Oh.
Right, so they're going direct to the projects and to the lighting projects, and yeah, so they're competing with us there, but they're not competing with us on the order desk and what's that terminology we call it?
Which one?
Customer
No,
fulfillment
you're
center,
talking about maintenance pre-order. What is that?
MRO.
MRO.
Wait, what does that
You guys
actually
are
mean? What is that? Maintenance
well,
pre-order?
Sometimes materials replacement order.
Okay,
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you say maintenance.
haven't heard that one yet.
Oh yeah, materials replacement.
that's what it
order.
is.
Yeah.
I'm
Come on,
writing that
I'm the
down.
oldest one out of everybody you interview.
What are you talking
so
about,
come on.
girl?
Materials replace. It's MRO.
That's what it is. We had
Yeah.
a big argument on episode 3
right.
of the Get a Grip on Lighting
Yes.
podcast about what MROs do.
We still haven't
MRO.
figured it out.
Yeah.
Don't
No,
know.
we figured it
Now
out.
we got it.
yeah.
That's what it is. That's
materials
exactly what.
replacement.
That's
order.
exactly what it is. So that's
Yeah.
so that business. It's it's interesting because it kind of goes down for a bit, and then a company will exit the business, and then our business will go up a little bit.
Yeah. Right.
So there's actually sometimes there's a little bit of growth we see as people exit the business. There is people leaving the lighting business.
Sure.
And have you guys seen that here more than your other markets in San Francisco or LA?
People leaving here?
Yeah, because a lot of the people we were talking to had that. Who was it? PG or
PG&E?
PG&E
Right.
messed
One
up
of
the
the
rebate
utilities.
programs. Is that a nice way to put it?
I don't think they messed them up.
Okay.
I think that, it's like what you guys have said. They've been very advantageous. They've been out there for a long time.
Too
They've been,
advantageous.
and they've been utilized to
Yeah.
death.
Mhm.
And, could they be utilized more? Yeah. But they had some phenomenal rebates. And you're right. Like I heard you guys talk about, we could give away free lamps, and we can do that in Southern California right now. SCE, we can do, which is sad to say, you can do an LED T8. It's a $4 rebate, and we can do that day in and day out.
Sure.
Right. And so it gets to a point where then finally they start focusing elsewhere. But they've been around for here 10 or 15 years. So how long are you going to keep rebating on it? They're going to change it up. They're going to change it.
Yeah.
So I think they've done
That's called Armageddon for me.
well, right.
I mean, I
So-
got my entire recycling business and my entire projects business, which is like 75% of my business, is completely related to rebates.
But it's interesting when you guys,
Completely related to rebates.
So when you guys say projects, it's funny because then I see more people where they want to get away from it because now it's getting more cumbersome. So
Yes,
it used to
the-
be a lot easier.
Yeah, sure.
And now it's so cumbersome that even we'll get end users that just don't even want to deal with it because
Mhm.
it's such forget it.
So you guys are selling turnkey projects here, or you're not really?
We do.
Okay, but not.
Yeah, but it sounds like it's a bigger bulk of your business. And we've talked about that before. We still have a big bulk of MRO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's it's about 25% of the
Yeah.
business.
Well, you couldn't have any because you didn't know what it was. So
Yeah, now that I know what it is, I can figure
You
it
just
all
thought
out.
people just liked you and they were ordering light bulbs
That's
just
it.
because they had heard
That's
of you
it.
guys.
The
Yeah.
MRO.
But I mean, yeah, we still sell a ton of light bulbs just because they want to replace the same thing. And
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, it is. It used to be a lot funner.
I don't understand like people look down on that. I think that's such a wonderful business. It was such a it was like the pseudo subscription basis of it. You'd know that every customer was like each building was good for $5,000 or $20,000 a year of maintenance materials replacement orders.
Well, there used to be a formula for that.
Yeah.
You take the square footage and
Yeah.
calculate it all out, and that building is worth so much money. But yeah, it changes. So it's nice that we can have both.
Yeah.
But we have to be, it's the same thing as many people said before too. You can't be all wrapped up with contractors. You can't be all wrapped up in one type of market either, or one segment of the market. So you have to be diversified. And so I think that's the great thing for us too, is that we really look at the diversification and continue changing. And that's just what I noticed in the Phoenix marketplace.
Sure.
It was not where we want to continue to grow and move. So that's what we're making some changes.
It's interesting how distributors are all kind of adding lighting design or adding specifications and this kind of stuff to their businesses and trying to cope with the uncertainty of and it's harder. I think it's harder for those that have long, deep roots in the business to let go of that MRO business. It's hard. Like you don't want to let it go. It's good. Why would you, right? But there's a sense that it's going away, is it not? Or do you believe that it's going to reemerge in a different form and that Westlite will be strong in replacement drivers or replacement? Like, do you see?
Well, no. I mean,
I'm
I'm more than willing to let go of it. You
Okay.
have to be aware of it.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you're not aware of what changes are going to come down the pike or even try to look ahead, you're going to be lost out in the dust. Somebody's
Yeah.
going to pass you up. So will we take that business as it comes? Yes. But we also have to go into those customers and propose and make them know that we're the lighting specialist so that when they are ready,
Yes.
that we're here, because we're going to lose that socket someday.
Yeah.
Unless we stay in front of that customer. So yes, is there things coming down the pike now for replacement drivers? Yes. And you're seeing it with, a lot of companies where you can now get down to one SKU and tune it yourself on your phone or have a tuning station in each warehouse and just have to carry a lot less SKUs. So we're seeing some of those drivers fail and things, but it's interesting. And I heard you say this on one of your guests said this on a podcast too. And we know this from LEDs. If something failed that was, 5 years ago, you can't match it.
No.
So now the hard part is when you do these commercial buildings or wherever where they have multiple fixtures. Now what are you going to do? They're going to have to replace the whole thing because they're not even going to be able to replace that one fixture to match all the others.
That's a problem.
Right. But then you see like Fulham and some other companies that are coming out where you can just replace the guts, right? So you're going to go back to what LED started with, where it wasn't just the new fixtures. They would, come in with the little replaceable whole guts of the fixture, and you keep the look of the outside of the fixture.
I think there's the Jaga Consortium. Do you know about that? We did a podcast with Dee Dentiner, and the Jaga Consortium is like what is it? It's like a
where they're trying
consortium.
It's a consortium of manufacturers in Europe. And what they're trying to do is create a standard for the mechanical form factors of LED fixtures. This is an interesting point. So innovation needs to take place within a certain set of parameters for it to be truly effective. So I would say the most innovation we've seen in the LED world has been within the 4-foot T8 LED tube. How many iterations how many different versions has there been? The price has gone down and the performance has gone up, right?
Well, they went after the big horse.
Well, no, but also
they didn't just randomly pick that, Michael. They went after that because of the SKUs.
But the reason why the innovation was so fast was because it had to be a medium bipin socket. It had to be 4 feet in length. It had to be T8 thickness, and these were the 3 color temperatures you could use. Now go and make it work. And so when you have rules about form factors, the innovation can be concentrated on areas that actually make a difference. If everybody with an LED fixture is making different size form factors, then the innovation is being wasted on whether the LED array is 42.5 inches or 37.5 inches and this much thick and this. If you just set those form factors like they did with NEMA codes, like a 4-foot T8 tube has to be this long with this socket, with this, then you allow for innovation within the space. So the rules actually drive the innovation. That's the theory anyway.
Why do we still have so many SKUs and light bulbs?
Because they make it intentionally confusing.
Who's this?
Who's this? Michael always has a conspiracy theory.
That's true.
I mean, if the manufacturers were smart, why? If they were smart,
so they could keep the price high.
Think about it as a manufacturing. Why would you make so many choices from a manufacturing level? Wouldn't it be much better to get it down to a honed amount of SKUs?
Yeah, but you know what though? Lighting has never driven itself down to a commodity. It resisted commoditization for decades.
Well, you and the commodity thing. It's a commodity. It's used everywhere, and it can be attained anywhere.
A commodity by definition, and yes, it is a commodity. We know it's a commodity for sure, because we can match the things that are the same. But an end user doesn't know the difference between FO96 T8 SPX 41K and F96 T8.
Sure, but
you know what I'm saying?
But if I'm saying
a commodity would be like named the same.
Well, think about how many par 38s, right?
Sure.
If you just want to go something simple, and how you've got like a 45 and a 60 and a 75 and a 90.
Sure.
Okay. So, that's a little bit what California
super lighting
did.
dorky now.
Yeah, yes. That's a little bit what California did but then what the manufacturers came back with is they just came and met the specifications and just lowered the wattage. Mm-hmm. Why not just come out with like 1 or 3? Why have so many options? Why have it in a narrow beam, a flood, a spot, a wide flood, and if you think of it, exactly what you're saying, if they really got smart, why wouldn't you just bring your SKUs down? How much simpler for them to manufacture, and how much simpler for us and the end user.
Yeah, but I think complexity drives.
So I don't
up.
think that's ever going to happen, because if exactly what you're saying, these guys over in Europe, why wouldn't all of the big 3 who are now not in the U.S., they're not based here. Why wouldn't that have happened? It should.
It should.
Yeah, it should.
Jaga should be moved forward for sure. But you have to get the Chinese on board. And good luck with that.
Yeah. Well, they're involved.
They're involved, but they're not on board.
Right. Well, they're going to make a buck wherever they can make a buck.
Sure.
They're smart.
Did you see the... for sure.
Just like the rest of us, right?
They're good business people.
Right.
Did you read the ALR from Monday?
No.
Chinese lighting manufacturers kidnapping Westerners because they're not getting paid and stuff like that. Did you see that?
No.
The manufacturers aren't getting paid right now. Some of them aren't being paid, so there's like kidnappings going on. And one of them was in the lighting business. If we were streaming this back to the shop, I'd get Scott to pull it up for you. But yeah,
really,
yeah. So,
What are you thinking on this incandescent rollback? Are you for it or against it?
ooh, California girl.
Come on, California.
Well,
You're representing the whole state.
I'm
right now.
representing the whole state.
You're a California girl.
I'm not actually.
We're-
I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Come on.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. That's the opposite.
Completely the opposite. But I've been out here since 76. So I would consider myself a California girl. Doing away with the incandescent, why not? I mean, look at Europe. What do we need it for? Except for even, now they're starting to finally get some very nice looking when they've gone into the antique, looking bulbs. But
Sure.
what do we need an incandescent for?
But do you care?
Do I care?
If we keep it or don't keep
A
it?
lot of people care.
Do
Do you care?
Do I care?
Shit,
No.
come on. She's got MR16s in her basement, BR30s. Come on, don't you?
How many incandescents
65
you got?
Yeah,
No,
30 down there.
unfortunately, if my husband was here, he'd be going, "Oh my God, I've got different LEDs all throughout. Like I'm like the test market at my house."
Man, yeah.
Yeah, but I still do have some MR16s that just haven't burned out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
And you're right. Do
All that
I mean,
MR16s.
I do love them for the look if you're talking residential, but me personally, if you want to talk about business, commercially, does it matter? No. Especially with the controls it can do. But the problem is,
That was my next question.
yeah.
Controls. Are you guys diving in? I haven't even.
Oh, sure.
I have my little toe in the pool. I'm just like, oh God, controls.
So
Oh,
let's
yeah.
go back to you're diving in here. Are you diving in Ohio?
No, mostly in California. But we're trying. I mean, I'm trying to educate them back there and we're trying to push more LEDs back there, but
Do you know why it's working here and not there?
California.
It's sort of
the Republic of
it's-
California, bud.
Because you're kinda
it's-
forced to here, is my
the
point.
Republic of California. I think it's just the lifestyle. It is the
Yeah,
lifestyle out here. It's the weather.
Progressive
It's just the healthiness, the getting out there. You go back there and you can just even see it with the food and the cuisine and just what now. I don't want to get in trouble here because
Get in trouble.
No,
okay.
Pittsburgh girl, get in trouble.
I mean, I love a good chili dog too,
Sure,
but
me
it'd be
too.
hard to find. You're going to find more salads and more healthy eating and
Sure.
yogurt and all of that out here, right?
Mhm.
Then you're going to find it back there. So it's just like in different marketplaces. So I think residentially, I think that the incandescent still has a purpose, and commercially, I think you can get away from it
So you don't really care if they do have it or not, the rule.
here.
Yeah. Or no, just in general, like
DOE regulations.
Yeah.
I thought the
Doesn't
regulation
fit.
was crude.
Yeah.
Like I think it was it was spirited correctly.
Nobody likes when you take something away from them.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what it is.
especially in America.
So, I mean, it's all about education
Sure.
and it's all about showing what the other things are.
You could have been way more precise with that legislation, though. Other than like,
I didn't write it.
I know.
So me.
You.
I would have been way more precise.
Yeah, you could go like 400-watt metal halide gone.
Right. But
Right? Like that, you could do that.
but you should have really said, yeah, break the bulb. Let's just go out and smash them out there right now. But I still sell a few of those.
So do I.
Yeah.
LU 150.
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me 12 of those every day.
Yeah.
I got one more thing I want to tell you about.
Okay.
You can't cheat on me again. I heard you went on Jason Bader's show.
What do you mean cheat on you?
You're mine. You're ours. On
Oh.
the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast. You can't
Let's
be.
see. Did I know Jason before you?
Jason was episode 1 of the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast.
But did I know him before you
Yes.
from Nailed?
Ooh, no,
Probably.
No, I was at the first convention he came to. That was my first convention in Sandestin. that
But
he
I
was
don't
at.
think I met you at Sandestin. Did we talk then?
You were probably kind of like, who's this new guy with the suit on?
I would
Wow.
never
Where
do
is-
that.
where in
I
the
was
carpet?
actually one of
Oh,
your
yeah,
first
no, yeah,
friends
you
out of
were. That's
everybody
true.
in
Yeah,
Nailed.
you're
Everybody
right.
thought you were crazy,
Yeah,
and I
I'm
loved your
crazy.
energy. You are
Yeah.
crazy, but you
Thought-
gotta be crazy.
You know what? It's
You
not-
gotta be
I don't know if
crazy.
crazy is the right word. I think I just a little.
They didn't like the
quirky.
disruption.
Yeah, that's
Nobody likes to be disrupted. That's what we just talked about. But I mean, come on, get a grip, man.
Yeah.
If you don't disrupt, you're gonna
If we
die.
don't disrupt our own
Disrupt
industry,
or die.
someone's going to disrupt it for us.
disrupt or die.
Yeah,
That may
So-
be my new tagline.
That might be the title of the show.
Disrupt or die. baby.
Disrupt or die.
This has been a blast. with Nailed with
and bring me back. I want to interview these two guys. I think we ought to turn the tables.
There's been a couple people that want to do that.
Ah.
It hasn't happened yet, but yeah, I'm open to it anytime. for
All
sure,
right,
for
let's
sure.
do
You
it.
got to get your own gear, your own.
Yeah, no, you
That's all right. You guys will bring your own.
Yeah, you can ask the questions
Yeah.
for sure. But folks, if when you're listening to this next week, we thank you. We're very grateful to all our listeners out there. And if you have light bulbs in a warehouse like Brenda does, you need to join the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors. Do you remember our old tagline where lighting means business? That was my favorite tagline with Nailed. Do you remember that?
I do.
They changed it to education, networking, technology. I voted against it when I was on the board. I love where lighting means business, but I'm not changing it back because it's too much work.
I will tell you, you do need to join. Definitely, if you're starting out, if you're smaller, if you're trying to understand what people are doing. And I watch all of your shows.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Thank you.
See? Your
Thank you.
shows too,
Thank you.
Greg.
Yeah, I'm
You're
there
not just the
sometimes.
second fiddle. Yeah.
The
And
calls.
and the ideas. And I think that's what we have to help the distributors more. That's what we need to find out. How do we help
Absolutely.
the distributors
Well,
more?
I think one of the things is that I think we could do a lot. We could start lobbying government. I think we could do that. How we do that, how we get ourselves to the table with the DOE. I think we could send representatives. I can think a lot of Nailed members who would both enjoy, would like to, and would be very good at advising the Department of Energy in terms of what light bulbs should be made illegal. Like, there's nobody better than us.
Right.
And I'm not talking about politics here. I'm not talking about Republic. I'm talking light bulbs are not a political issue. Hopefully, that's one of the things. 2019.
Yeah.
You
You've
know,
already got the vendors doing some of that. You've got to get behind them. They've got the deeper pockets.
yeah, they could pay, but we advise. Folks, go to
always a
naild.org. Look it out. Someone's going to interview me one day. It could be Randy Reed. It could be Paul Pompeo. But I think it's more likely to be Brenda Puckett.
It better be.
Thanks for listening, folks. Bye for now.
All right. Thanks.
EnergyFocus.com, baby. That's ENERGYFOCUS.com. I bet you thought I was going to put an O in front of that U, didn't you, Greg? And
Yeah,
Energy
you
Focus.
never know with your Canadian. Your
Yeah.
Canadian spelling always throws me off.
Focus is
But that
spelled
one
the same. EnergyFocus.com. The original Flicker Free is coming out. Well, they already came out with it, with their red cap emergency tubes.
That's right. It's been one of the best innovative products I've seen. You can actually see a video if you click on that at some point as you're watching. Go on their website. It'll talk all about the red cap, but it's a first UL approved Type B emergency tube. So instead of dealing with the battery backups, instead of dealing with a ballast, anything that you might need for that emergency or a module, this thing is all built into the tube. It works like a normal tube when you need that light to be on. And then when the power goes out, it kicks on to the battery backup for 90 minutes, all built into the tube. A lot easier install, a lot easier maintenance. Best way to go if you're going to need emergency lighting in your fixture.
The original red cap, too, man. The original emergency lighting tube, the original Freckle Free. They are the original. Oh, yeah. EnergyFocus.com. ENERGYFOCUS.com, baby. EnergyFocus.com. And, of course, we had Brenda Puckett, the Nailed Mom. We love you, Brenda. We're keeping you in Nailed. Go to NAILD.org. The Westlite Queen. Coming out of California. Greg.
That's
We love
right.
you, Brenda.
She's there. It's awesome.
Yep. Thanks for listening, folks.
Written on the rectory wall, there's a sign there for all. If you are lost, Lord is there to find you.